you everyone. Thank you NBRI for having me. Here I'm glad to share our experience in electric vehicle, especially in two-wheelers. We have the title is the electric battery in electric vehicle and its ecosystem. So here I want to share. I want bring something that different from others. Like I want to share something that you cannot find in the internet. Maybe you cannot find in the public area for about the electric vehicle. As I said to Mr. Prof. Effie, that electric vehicle is like an iceberg. So a lot of something that we do not know under the surface. So here are some maybe 10 points that people rare to know. It is rare to know, rare information, or it is the most updated one information that I can share to you. So I will not share to you about the data and everything about the climate change, because today in this forum, so many experts that have that data. So I will share something that more fun. So that's my introduction. So I will share my PowerPoint, my screen, sorry. So, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, actually, if my speaking is too fast, please remind me. So if you have any question, let's discuss after the PowerPoint. So here's the title. It is about the battery in electric vehicle and its ecosystem. So my name is Yoga Mugiyo Pratama. I'm head R&D of Project Storm, supported by Hyundai Kivico. So this is the content. I divided into two contents. The first is about battery in electric vehicle, and the second is about electric vehicle ecosystem itself. So here is maybe at least there is 8 points that rare in the internet. So I will bring it to you. So the first is about how does battery affects EV performance. And then we will talk about the mechanical and electrical system in the EV related to the battery. And then the second is about how does battery affects EV cost. So it is important because when we produce battery cell, for example, in like NBRI in the laboratory, we have to calculate everything from the scratch, from the materials of the battery until the vehicle price. So how about the portion of the battery? It is very interesting. And then the third is about the myth and wrong opinion, because a lot of wrong opinion, I think, in Indonesia about the electric vehicle. So I will make some, how to say, Shirotol Mustaqim, like strengthen, make a good way, make a good research, because this wrong opinion comes from non-research opinion. So I will share based on research after this. And then the fourth is about the instant benefit. Maybe 90% of us, even our president, if we're talking about electric vehicle, we always talk about the future, about the climate change. But when we talk to some people that their economic is low economics until middle economics, they don't care about climate change. That's what I found in the next of my research center. So I want to provide them people in the remote area, low communities, low economic communities, low educated people about the instant benefit of electric vehicle. So I will not tell them about the future benefit, about the climate change. They will don't care. So I will share about the instant benefit of battery in electric vehicle. And then about the AV ecosystem, I will share to you about the ecosystem definition itself, because many OEMs, many manufacturers, many brands have their own definition. And then the second is about battery recycle. Yeah, NBRI is expert for this because maybe 1 month ago, I came to Mr. Rido, NBRI experts about the battery recycle. And then about the battery side, this is fun fact because um, in the internet there is no information about battery sector like mazhab in Islam. Okay, and then the last is about the future benefit. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the future benefit of electric vehicle as well. Okay, that's the content, and then this is the first one about how does battery affect EV performances. Like as you can as you can see here, uh, this is our development motorcycle that have two batteries in series, and then it attack in the middle of the vehicle. So the first thing is we have to calculate we have to concern about the battery weight. The battery is around maybe usually 8 kilograms until 12 kilograms, and it will be double if we use the two batteries. And then we have to be careful to place the battery. So we have to calculate about the center of gravity and everything. So what we have to do is we try to put the battery as close as possible to the ground, and then as center as possible in the vehicle, as center as possible, as close as possible to the ground. So about the momentum, if the battery is too high, the momentum of the vehicle is not so good. It will affect the ergonomic of the vehicle. So this is about the battery weight, about the physical. How about the electrical? That's a good question because battery have 50% significant role in the electric vehicle. This is debatable, but as long as my research experiences shows that battery have the biggest portion um, of the role of every part in the electric vehicle, especially in two-wheelers. So the definition of EV performance is sorry, the EV performances that I told you is about the driving range, power, torque, and ergonomic. So for example, about the driving range, the battery, if we want more driving range, we have to add more batteries. We have to add more capacity of the batteries, but we have to decrease the weight of the batteries. So battery is big role. Battery have big role in the EV performance. And then the second is mechanical. Uh, mechanical have 40% performance. For example, as I have researched hydrogen car in ITS in my campus. It's called Antasena ITS team, and we went to competition in Malaysia and London, and our result is mechanical have about 30 to 40% of the vehicle efficiency. How it comes? The question, how it comes? The first is about frictions. We have to think about the friction in the bearings, in the pulley, in the sprocket, frictions in the wheel, and also the frictions inside the motors itself, the electric motor itself. So when the friction comes down, decrease, the efficiency is increased significantly. That's the first point about friction. The second is about the weight. I think the mechanical work like brakes and everything, it comes, the material is from steel at least, or aluminum alloy. Yeah, as you know about the weight ratio, less weight means or equals more efficient. So that's what I mean about the mechanical. And then the third is about the aerodynamic. But in electric vehicle two-wheelers, as long as the vehicle do not exceed 80 kilometers per hour, the aerodynamic is not a big deal. So aerodynamic will be as a big deal when the vehicle exceed more than 80 kilometers per hour. And then but it still affect the vehicle. So when I design our new vehicle, I will concern to aerodynamic as well, even it is not more than 80 kilometer. And then the third is about the electrical parts, controller. So here I have two controllers. I will show you. Wait a minute. So I want to share something that maybe you can find in the internet. So this is a controller for the electric motor for the high voltage. This one.
Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Yoga.
Okay.
I can't see.
Okay,
we can see.
Okay. So conventional electric vehicle two-wheelers have only one controller. Conventional. Only this. Oh, okay. Sorry. This one. This controller is only control about the high voltage from the battery to the electric motor. But for the latest, I think the advanced electric vehicle, we have the vehicle have to own their second brain for the IoT. So this is the second one. This is for the IoT, like GPS, modem, and everything. So this is the second brain. This is called VCU, Vehicle Control Unit. This control IoT and low voltage. So there is two type of electric vehicle, two-wheelers. The first, we call it conventional, and the second is about the updated one. The updated one always use two brains in the motorcycle. Okay, wait a minute. I will share my screen again. Okay, so the controller have only 10%. So we now can imagine how important the battery is. The battery have 50% significant role. If you have any question, let's discuss after this, because this is so much to talk. So I will go to the next page first. And then, yeah, this is about the battery cost. How does battery affect EV cost? As you can see in here, there's yellow and green axle. That the yellow one, the left one, is electric vehicle that have single battery. Motorcycle, electric motorcycle, single battery. This is about the battery portion. And the green one is electric motorcycle that have double battery, two batteries in the vehicle. And then, as you can see here, in the yellow, in the single battery motorcycle, electric motorcycle, the battery portion is 31%. And then the double battery vehicle, electric vehicle, have 39%. So both of them, the battery, have the biggest portion in the vehicle manufacturing cost. So it is important that we have to decrease the battery price or take out the battery price from the vehicle to have an affordable price of the electric vehicle price. So today we know that EV, two-wheelers and four-wheelers, are expensive. So people say that yeah, the initial price is expensive, but they do not know that the operational cost. So there is two type of price in the EV. The first is the initial price, and the second is operational cost. The initial cost is like we paid in the front, like the vehicle price. Yeah, it's quite high. And then the second one is about operational cost. Like we do not need to buy about the gasoline and everything. So it is very low, very affordable. But in Indonesia, as our experiences, Indonesian market, they do not have or do not they still do not know about the operational cost. They do not care about that. They just care about the initial price. That's what makes our sales not maybe not so good maybe. Well, but so we have to find solutions, and soon, maybe as soon as possible, maybe in the next year, we will launch vehicle that have big game changing in the market about the battery price. So yeah, it is something that you can find in the internet maybe about the battery price for single and double single motorcycle. So I don't know now in the four-wheeler, but I think the battery price have their significant role as well for the EV car. So this is about the myth and wrong opinion about electric vehicle, especially in two-wheelers. And then I will share to you my video, my personal research. Go went to the float. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen about the video? Okay, wait a minute. How to play?
Yeah, I can see it, Mr.
Okay. This is last year, maybe on August 2021, close to my research center, when the float is about 30 centimeters, or maybe 40 centimeters for the maximum depth of the water. So you have to know internal combustion engine with big names. I cannot say that is how to say died in this area in this street, because internal combustion engine with gasoline, they have air intake, they have a radiator. So when the air intake is inserted by the water, so the combustion is disrupted. But the electric vehicle, if we do not have air intake and everything, and all the parts is IP67 at least. So let's see this. Sorry for the noise. Yeah, it's quite deep. So the motorcycle, 150cc and 125cc and the below cannot pass the street, because the street, the depth of the water is not so good. It's not good for their internal combustion engine air intake. So everything is broke. So what I want to share to you about the myth is many people think that electric vehicle is not good for the float experience, two-wheelers and four-wheelers. Please do not use electric vehicle in the float. Many people say that, but that's wrong opinion. That's a myth, because they just think about the electricity. That how if the electricity comes out and makes short circuit and everything. This video proves that electric vehicle is more safe to pass through the fluid. But still, please use wisely. So please don't use, as Mr. Yoga said, I will use electric vehicle in fluid. So actually, my vehicle at my EV, once time last year, parked in my home in Pasar Minggu, and then there is a big flood in that time, maybe in the early last year, 2021 in January. And you know what? The water is until the rear view mirror. the water is very high until the rear view mirror. But what happened is we just dry it, and then the vehicle is normal. Okay, so 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 this is the fun fact is that EV is more durable for the fluid experience. Okay, so I want like social responsibility to share this experience that EV is more durable for the fluid experience. This is uh, the important one is about the instant benefit. So when we use electric vehicle, I get this data from Gojek and Grab riders who have electric vehicle for their daily use, that they save at average 30% cost saving daily. So it is quite high. Because they do not have to buy gasoline, they do not have to change the engine oil every 2 weeks, and the efficiency of the electricity is 95%. So the energy is much more efficient instead of the internal combustion engine. So when we talk, when I talk to low educated people, low economic income people, I will tell them about this. I will not tell them about the climate change. They will don't care. But when I will talk to them that, hey, electric vehicle will save you 30% daily for your economic value. And then the second one is no shore muscle. How it comes? That's the question. How it comes when we use electric vehicles? So let's use bahasa Indonesia. There is no pegel-pegel, no sore muscle. Because what? Because as you know, electric vehicle has no vibration, has no sound, have no vibration. So there is no vibration comes from the engine to the body of the rider. So when the rider use the vehicle daily, they will no have sore muscle when they use internal combustion engine vehicle. This is proved. This is proven by a Gojek rider, and also proven by our 1,000 kilometer testing. So we use rider 1,000 kilometer for 1,000 kilometer riding, and they told me that why when we use your vehicle we don't have any sore muscle. So the hypothesis is just okay, the seat sponge is good, is the best sponge. That's why you don't undergo sore muscle. But 1 year after that, I have more valid data that no sore muscle comes from no vibrations from the EV. That's the instant benefit. So I think this is that there is no in the internet about this information. So the last is about the efficiency of the EV itself. When we use petrol engine like Pertalite, the engine efficiency is around 15%, 15%, 15%. And then when we use a diesel engine like truck and bus, use solar, the efficiency is around 30%. Okay, we will not discuss about that. Many experts in that area. But in the electric vehicle, in the EV, the efficiency is at least 88%. but the average of the OEMs and the average of the electric motor is 95% efficiency. So you can imagine 15% for the when we use pertalite or petrol, and then 30% efficiency when we use solar or diesel, and then 95% when we use electric vehicle. How it comes? When we use EV in the Jakarta, you know, there is a lot of traffic jam, a lot of red light. When we use electric vehicle in the red light, when we stop, there is no electricity used by the vehicle except the LED lights. It is very low consumption. LED light is very low. But when we stop in the traffic jam, there is no energy used. But when we use internal combustion engine like petrol or diesel, when we stop in the traffic jam or when we stop in the red light, there is idle consumption. Idle means when the vehicle stops but the engine is still on. So that's the reason why EV have 95%, but not that, but not just that one. But the significant role is comes from that things. Okay, and then yeah, this is about the future benefit. We know about the COP21 Paris Agreement 2015. The world's leader agreed to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius and pursuing efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. About global warming, marine pollution, abnormal weather, atmospheric pollution, yes, we can discuss this in the highly educated people. But as I said before, when we talk to low educated people, please do not share about this. They will do not care. So yeah, we have already talked about this in many occasions. So I will not go deeply for this. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is important discussion that Indonesia is a country risk. Indonesia is a country risk. In the left table, we can see a natural hazard risk index. Indonesia is number 6 for our natural hazard. And then in the right table, we can see that, let's see in the 2020 year, in the years 2020, the flood in Indonesia is, the flood in Indonesia have their significant role for making disasters in Indonesia. So the flood is come from the climate change, yeah, many things, but it will, like today, yeah, as we can see in the internet, in the national media news, that in Semarang city, Semarang, in Central Java, there is, how to say rob in English, there is a rob flood inclination, water inclination, increasing water from the port, and then it is disasters in Semarang right now, today, at this time. If not solved, I don't know. The flood comes from the rob comes from the moon gravity, but also it could be comes from the increasing of sea level. Yeah, that's the disaster is real. The disaster is real. Okay. Okay. This is about the ecosystem definition. So many OEMs, many manufacturers, that they have definition about ecosystem is just the vehicle itself and also the BSS, or battery swappable solution. But they do not have the definition for the reuse and also the recycle battery solution. So what we know that the ecosystem is always from the upstream to the downstream and reverse and recycle. So I think there is no something special. We can find this definition. Okay, let's talk in the question sessions. This is the interesting one about the battery recycle. So in the left pictures, we see a microstructure of the battery. Left pictures, it is a new battery cell. So the ball of the microstructure is still complete, no broken, not broken home, but broken ball. The right pictures is broken ball. So how it comes? The left pictures, it is 1.5 kilowatt capacity battery. It is for example, 50-kilometer riding rings. This is just an example. Okay, when we use the vehicle for 1.5 years maybe, or 2 years maybe, and it reach battery and life cycle, 500 cycle or maybe 1000 cycle, everything, the battery will comes like this in the red pictures. The microstructure is broken. And then how what it means? Okay, the question is, so what? Okay, so your vehicle, that when you buy the vehicle, electric vehicle, you will have 50-kilometer riding rings. But after 1.5 years, maybe, for example, your vehicle, your battery is only 32.5-kilometer riding rings. This is just example. Okay, so how about the capacity? It decreased to be 0.975 kilowatt hour. So it is just maybe 65%. So every battery cell manufacturers, battery cell makers, battery cell OEMs have their own specification about the life cycle, about the end life cycle percentage. For example, one brand, a brand, have 500 life cycle battery, and then after 500, the battery only have 65% capacity. So how it comes? Is there any nickel loss, lithium loss, or something? No, there is no weight loss. It comes from the deformation of the battery microstructure. So I think NBRI. So and then okay, yeah, this is about the recycle. So we have, this is about metallurgy. Hydrometallurgy. We have to dismantling the battery. So after the battery reach their end life cycle, we will use the battery in the reuse battery solution. Like this is just an example. Hyundai Electric using reuse battery for ESS, or like Powerwall, or Thalys tabung listrik in PLN. And then after reuse, the battery will go to the recycle. Okay, so after 500 cycle, the battery is not directly go to the recycle, but go to reuse first. Okay, after reuse, we go to the recycle. So the first step is to dismantling the battery cell, like this one, this picture, and then open the cage, and then collecting the black mass. But this is actually the simple flow.
Yep.
Hello. Okay, and then after the black mass, the result is lithium carbonate, cobalt sulfate, nickel sulfate, and manganese carbonate. So I have discussed to Mr. Rido that if we have recycled battery like lithium carbonate and his friends, so is it can be used directly in the laboratorium of the NBRI, for example? So yes, the lithium carbonate and everything is for MHP maybe. So and then this black mass, this expensive one, we have to distribute to battery maker, for example, like LG, POSCO, or IBC, and many more. Then the battery cell, the battery maker will produce a new battery cell. Okay, so I think this is the last one about the battery sector. The first is about swappable, and the second is permanent battery. So when as we can see in here, there is two type of vehicle. The Neo electric car in China, they use swap battery. In the right pictures, we see Tesla. They use supercharger, no battery swap. And also in the left pictures, we can see Gesit, they use swappable. And also in the right picture, we can see, I think this is Yamaha, they use permanent battery. So what is the pros and cons? The swappable have fast energy change. So we just change the battery. But for the permanent battery, we have more slow energy change because we have to charge the battery, even it use a supercharger. And the swappable battery, the cons is we have to triple battery investment. For example, for single electric vehicle, we have to make one third portion. One vehicle have 3 batteries at least. The first battery have to be used in the vehicle, and the second one or the third one have to store in the PSS. For example, triple or fourth battery investment, or at least double. But in the permanent battery vehicle, electric vehicle, it's only one battery to the vehicle, so the investment is much more affordable. And the third is about safe battery charging. When we use swap battery, we do not need high C rate. High C rate means more extra hot or extra energy, and it will decrease battery life cycle. If we charge the battery, if we charge the vehicle using fast charging, we will need a high C rate, and then it will decrease battery life cycle. But for the swappable, we do not need to rush the charging. And the last is the swappable is the cons is limited battery space, means limited capacity, means limited range. And also, if we use swap, we have to concern about the battery weight. If our battery is too heavy, so the user will not, it's not so good for the user. And then the permanent battery, we do not need to pull out the battery. So the battery have extra battery space, means extra driving range. Okay, I think that's all. So is there any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mas Yoga, for the presentation.